Podemos empezar broadcasting YouTube también. Gonzalo, hide your camera, please.
Should I hide my camera?
No, you stay there.
Oh, okay.
You are main star here. Los saludamos, las preguntas se las contestamos al final. Sigue ingresando gente a la sala, por eso estoy esperando un poquito más, 2 minutos más y empezamos. Hola, bienvenidos a todos mientras tanto. Bienvenidos a todos, vamos viendo cómo van ingresando en la sala, como son muchos los registrados y siguen entrando, vamos a esperar un minutito más y empezamos. Bueno, vamos a empezar. Espero un minutito más. Sigo viendo que siguen entrando. Siguen sumándose. Bueno, voy a empezar igual para que podamos aprovechar el tiempo de todos los que ya están acá. Hola a todos, bienvenidos a este webinar que venimos esperando hace muchos días. En estos primeros 2 minutos voy a ir switchando de inglés a español para los que necesiten conectarse con cualquiera de los 2 idiomas. Fíjense que en la pantalla de Zoom debajo hay un botón que es de interpretación o interpretation, en donde van a poder elegir el idioma en el que quieren escuchar este webinar. Y es muy importante que elijan el correcto. Y nosotros vamos a hablar en los 2 idiomas, en inglés y en castellano, para que ustedes puedan ir eligiendo en qué idioma quieren escuchar, y además vamos a tratar de hablar en nuestros idiomas nativos para que sea más fácil para todos. So right now, I will switch to English for you to try to hear my voice in Spanish anyway, not my voice, but somebody translating in Spanish what I'm saying in English. So I have the honor to introduce our main speaker. She's Esther Wosinski. Esther is a journalist and an award-winning educator, and also a pioneer in the integration of technology in the classroom. And she's really well known because of what she does with her students at school and college, and she's also the one that wrote 2 amazing books related to education and how to raise successful people, and Moonshots in Education, so where she gives a lot of advices on how to act in the future of education and also with our kids at home. So for me, it's really an honor. She's also the mother of Susan Wosinski, which is the CEO of YouTube, and Janek Wosinski, who is a professor of pediatrics at UCSF, and Anne Wosinski, of course, and she's the founder and CEO of 23andMe. And also she's a grandmother of 10 amazing grandchild. So going to switch to Spanish. Wash recibió muchísimos premios de enseñanza y forma parte de juntas de organizaciones educativas líderes y además asesora al Departamento de Educación de Estados Unidos. Y así nos conocimos, nos presentó alguien en común, porque yo también trabajaba en innovación educativa en el gobierno en Argentina en un momento dado, y en Singularity University tuvimos finalmente la oportunidad de encontrarnos y conocernos personalmente, porque ella accedió a un almuerzo conmigo que terminó siendo una charla que dio a todos los que estaban presentes ahí en el GSP, que era un programa de Singularity ahí en la NASA, y nos dio una charla que dejó a todos encantados. Y hablaba sobre esto, ¿no?, que va a contar ella durante este webinar. Seguimos esta relación, volvimos a entrar en contacto, y ahí se lo presenté a Alan Gergenschatz, que es la tercera persona que se subió a este viaje que propusimos con Esther, que es de llevar la filosofía de Esther, traer la filosofía de Esther a Latinoamérica, y los tres juntos pensamos cómo hacer para dar un poco de luz. Y también ahí lo sumamos a Jonathan Matías, que fue el siguiente que se sumió, a crear una movida que de alguna manera también tuviese impacto en traer luz a esto del COVID-19, este flagelo que nos está pasando a todos. Entonces era mezclar la filosofía de Esther con la posibilidad de traer un poco de luz y de ayudar a fundaciones como como Fundación Infant en este camino. Se sumaron entonces Jonathan primero, después Facu Vadillo, Carlos Najún, Gonzalo Irigoyen, y todos armamos algo que se llamó Light at the End of the Tunnel. En esta movida es la cual esperamos seguir inspirando y conectar a otros de la esperanza y la búsqueda de esta luz al final del túnel. Por eso estamos hoy acá. Queremos dar a conocer a Fundación Infant y también lo que están haciendo para América Latina, pero sobre todo escuchar a Esther, que tiene mucho para contarnos sobre cómo esos trucos para ser exitosos, no solo como profesionales, sino sobre todo en nuestras vidas y con nuestros hijos, que es lo más importante. También le quiero agradecer a Valeria Ibarra, que sin ella no podríamos estar en este momento, en este webinar. Así que muchas gracias, y con eso le paso la voz a Esther. Bienvenida, Esther, y muchas gracias por estar acá.
Well, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I am very excited to be here and very excited to be giving this talk. And I am really happy that I accepted your invitation for lunch, because if I wouldn't, I would not have met you. So it's been an honor to meet you. So I will start giving this talk now. I'm going to share my screen, and we'll see, hopefully it will come up, and I'll be able to start.
Yes.
Is it there?
Yes.
Yeah, but I have to move it just a little bit more so that I can present, and it gets bigger.
Yeah,
so
let you know.
Let me know. Is this,
Yes.
Can you see it now?
It's loading.
It's loading. Oh yeah. There.
Yeah,
Is that
there
it?
we are.
Ah, good.
So I'll mute myself.
Yes. Okay, so the goal of this talk is really to give you some ideas of how to cope more effectively in the pandemic. I mean, we're all suffering everywhere in the world. It's not just one country, it's all of us together. And to give you some idea of light at the end. There is light at the end. You know, the world has had other pandemics, and they survived. So sometimes it feels like it's never going to be over, but we have to be realistic. It will. So I have 5 principles of parenting and teaching. It's in my book, and the principles are in this acronym. In English, the word is TRICK. And I came up with this idea to help people remember what's important. And so TRICK stands for trust, respect, independence, collaboration, and kindness. And this is what I used in my classroom. This is what I used in my parenting. This is what I use in all my relationships. And I'm going to explain to you how it works and why I think it's important. So this is the book that I wrote, How to Raise Successful People, Simple Lessons for Radical Results. It's in 21 languages, and I'm happy to tell you it's in Spanish. And so you can order it on Amazon. I think it's not very expensive, fortunately, for Amazon. Thank you, Amazon. And gives you a lot of ideas, not only how to be a good parent, but also how to be a good worker in wherever you're working, and also how to have really good relationships with the people that are most important to you, which is usually your family and your friends. And so here is the acronym in very large letters to help you remember what it means. Trust, respect, independence, collaboration, and kindness. And my theory and the tagline is change your parenting, change the world. And the reason I say that is because the most important and impressionable years of your life are when you're a small child. You learn a lot between the ages of 0 and 10. And so if we can change the way we educate and change the way we parent and be a little bit more trusting and respecting of our children, it will make a huge difference in the kind of adults they become. So the goal of the book, number one goal of the book, is to empower all children to be successful. And I'm talking about all children. Doesn't matter where you're born or what your skin color is or language, all children. Second goal is to empower all teachers and parents to be great teachers. And why do I put teachers and parents together? Because parents actually are the child's first teachers. And they might not think of themselves that way, but if you notice, little kids copy what they see. And so I think of parents as also teachers, but also I'd like to help people in the classroom be more effective and not work as hard. Third goal is to empower managers to be effective leaders in companies, because if managers can be more effective and feel better about the work that they're doing, the people who work under them will also feel better. And then that leads me to the fourth goal, to improve corporation behavior, improve corporations, to cultivate a culture of trick in corporations where they treat employees with trust and respect, give them independence to think things that are important to them, collaborate, don't just dictate, and treat them with kindness. We all need kindness. So, sorry, this slide is stuck. There we go. So these principles are even more important in today's online world in the face of pandemic, because we're all working from home. So it's much more difficult to micromanage people and actually not as effective when they're home. And so when you try to micromanage people on a Zoom call, it just makes everybody really miserable. So these principles work even more effectively. So trust, we need to trust our students. We need to trust our colleagues to be team players. And when you trust people, they trust and believe in themselves, especially kids. If you trust them to do something, like something really simple, like make the dessert for dinner that night, they feel really good about themselves afterward. They're like, wow, I made dinner, I made the dessert. And I think that those skills expand to life. The more you trust your children, the students, your colleagues to be team players, the more effective you can be. So we need self-learning in this century. Why? Because you can learn anything online. It's essential for the 21st century. So we need to trust people to be self-learners, and we especially need to trust students to be self-learners. And that's one of the problems in the classroom. The teachers are still trying to teach in a method that was developed 100 years ago, where they know everything. In fact, those kids in your class might know more than you. And I'm saying that as a teacher. So kids are smarter than you think. And here's an example. A 17-year-old NASA intern makes an amazing discovery after 3 days on the job, just 3 days. They discovered a new planet. And this was a planet that very qualified scientists had been looking for years. And this 17-year-old did it. Here's another movement, another thing, started by 2 girls aged 10 and 12 in Bali, the plastic bags, to ban plastic bags. This is now today, these girls are 17 and 19, and today this is the largest plastic bag movement in the world, started by 2 girls. It's a 13-year-old who created a pancreatic cancer treatment that people are using today. It's amazing what kids can do. So we need to respect them. Their ideas might sound a little crazy, but honestly, some of them can be really amazing. So we also need to respect the fact that their world has been shattered. We need to respect their feelings, their worries, their ideas. Even though they're younger, smaller bodies, they still have feelings that need to be respected. So as I said, when kids feel respected, they have self-respect. So if you want a kid that feels good about themselves, they need to be respected. So I give them a lot of independence. I allow them to search online to find the resources to meet the goals of the class. And then I have them share these resources, not only with each other, but with me, the teacher. So this develops independence. These are some of the places that they can search for information. This is just 5 or 6 out of thousands of places where kids can search for information and learn. Coursera, Teach from Home, YouTube, Udacity, and Learn at Home. So I encourage them to go online and learn with a friend. Why with a friend? Because people do things better when they have a friend. We exercise better, we diet better, we do all sorts of things better when we have a friend. So kids need that also. Also, I teach them kindness by modeling it myself, and you can do the same. It's a high stress moment in the world. We need to be kind to each other. So COVID-19 presents an opportunity to teach and model all these skills that computers will never have: empathy, compassion, respect, kindness, and creativity. These are all called social emotional skills. There's a guy named Daniel Goldman who wrote a book in the 1990s who showed that social emotional skills are more important than IQ. So my ideas about teaching started with the birth of my daughters. And this is my husband, Stanley Wojcicki, professor of physics at Stanford University. And here are my 3 daughters. This picture was taken in Geneva, Switzerland. We lived there for 2 years while my husband was at CERN, the Center for European Nuclear Research. And here are my 3 daughters today. This is Susan, Janet, and Anne. Janet's in the middle, and Susan is wearing blue. And this is the jobs that they have today. Susan is the CEO of YouTube. Janet is a professor of pediatrics at the University of California Medical Center. And Anne is the founder of 23andMe, the largest personal genetics company in the world. What did I teach them? Everybody wants to know. It's really funny. People are like, well, what'd you feed them for breakfast? And I was like, well, let me just tell you what I taught them. I taught them it's okay to take a risk and not succeed. Try everything. Don't be afraid of failure. Just do it again. And I provided a safe space to be creative. This is so important. So many kids are discouraged, depressed, unwilling to take a risk. And it's because when they try new things, they're either ridiculed or told that they shouldn't do it or should follow the rules, memorize and do the same thing that the teacher tells you to do all the time. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't also follow the rules in school. My theory has been recently, I'm proposing that 80% of the school day be similar, 20% of the school day be creative time, moonshot time, when kids can come up with projects that they care about. So I use trick in our daily life all the time with my kids, even when they were very tiny. I taught them to believe in themselves by trusting them. And I can just give you a crazy example that people will say, I can't believe you did it. I taught them how to make their own breakfast early in the morning. So they were 2 years old and they could pour the cereal in the bowl, pour the milk in the bowl, and turn on the TV and then watch Sesame Street. Why did I do this? First, I wanted to show them that they could do it. But really, I wanted to sleep later. And so then I decided the only way to sleep later is to teach them how to make their own breakfast. I taught them to find a purpose in life, to work to make the world a better place. Always think about the community. Always think about other people. Do things that make the world a better place. No one wants to live in a world where other people are suffering. So I also taught them no one can control life. You can't control life. We can't control what's going on today, but you can control your reaction to life. How you react and what you do is the most important thing. Always look for the silver lining. Always look for the good. There's always something good. So even in this pandemic, I'm happy to say that I do spend more time at home with my grandchildren, and that's a blessing. So before I was traveling around the world on lots of airplanes, and that also was exciting. But I can tell you, I'm very happy to spend time with my grandchildren. So this continued with the birth of my media arts program at Palo Alto High School. I started in 1984 with 20 students using a typewriter. Honestly, it looked like that. I handed out X-Acto knives. All the kids got knives to cut their stories out. Today in America, I probably would be arrested for handing out knives. We used hot wax to paste up the stories on a board, and then it was photographed and they made a metal plate. So I was in a portable for 30 years. This is what the portable looks like. It's still there on the school campus. Today, I have the largest media program in the United States, starting with those 19 students. I have 10 publications, more than 700 students, 6 other media arts teachers, and the program wins the top of the United States, top of the nation awards, more than any other program in the nation. And today, instead of that portable, I have a 25,000 square foot media arts center that looks like this, built by the city of Palo Alto, the citizens of Palo Alto. It's a tax bond. This is what the students do. They produce a newspaper. This is just one of the 10 publications. This is a 24 to 28 page, 3-section newspaper. So what happened in this pandemic in the spring semester? The kids still published. They decided on their own that they were going to publish the paper anyway. This one came out May 29th. And this is a front page, and this is 2 sections of the lifestyle, 2 pages of the lifestyle section. They did this because they felt empowered. They ran the Zoom meetings. They took over everything, because that's what happens when kids feel in control and respected. So this is C Magazine. This is another one of the publications. They also published during the pandemic. This is Verde. Another magazine, this is just, I have 10, so I won't give you all of them. This is Verdes Magazine's website during the pandemic. This website is just recent about Palo Alto secondary schools to continue the remote learning in the fall. They update it every day, even though school is not in session. A sports magazine, this is all done by teenagers, 15 to 18 years old. Looks professional, but these are all teenagers. So what are students saying, other students saying about living through the pandemic? Well, number one, they miss being with their friends. They're sad to miss important events in life, and they find it very hard to learn online. Zoom classrooms don't work. So these are the main things that I think we need to change for the fall semester. What can we do to alleviate the student stress and improve learning? Provide a schedule and due dates for the class that are reasonable, and list the goals, but then let the students design their own path for meeting the goals, with the teacher being a coach saying, yes, this path looks like a good idea. Well, maybe you should add a little bit something here. But when the students design their own path, they get excited about learning. Encourage the students to partner with 2 or 3 friends. It helps to maintain relationships, and then they learn together. And suggest some resources, but let the students discover their own and share them. There's so many online resources. And I already mentioned these before, but here are YouTube. YouTube has 1 billion education hits per day. Education. That doesn't include the movies you're watching or the news you're getting or the kitty cat videos that you're laughing about. It's just education. There's so much learning that can take place if kids look for the right resources. Learn at home. So what's the secret to getting kids interested in learning? Giving them control. That's the key. And the helicopter parenting syndrome, it doesn't work because kids don't want to follow what the parents are always telling them to do. So one of the other ways to motivate them, allow them to revise before grading them. The grading systems are very discouraging. Kids that get a C or a D on something, they don't want to do it again. So I never did that in class. In all the 40 years I was teaching, I used the mastery system, which is you revise until you get it right, and then you get a grade, usually an A. So you encourage students to take a risk without a fear of shame. That's how you develop creativity. Because when you're creative, anything that's creative is new and different. So you make yourself vulnerable. And you know, when you're vulnerable, people can make fun of you. So honestly, what you want to do is encourage students to take a risk without the fear of shame. Successful people are not afraid to think different. And here is one of my friends who I spent a lot of time with. His daughter was in my class. He is the epitome of thinking different, Steve Jobs. Think different. And this is the motto behind Apple. Can you imagine what would happen, how the world would be different if Steve Jobs had not said, think different? So I use art as a powerful tool for learning. Art just isn't just for drawing. It is a tool for learning. It's a tool for relaxing. It's a tool for brainstorming, for creativity. So I encourage art. I let kids draw. I am not afraid of a mess. My classroom, for those of you that came to visit, will know that it looks a little chaotic. The kids clean up at the end, but it looks a little chaotic. This is not my classroom, but this is a house of a friend I know. And it is a little chaotic, but I can tell you the kids are pretty happy and they clean up. So kids don't need to stay on track to succeed. You know, this is one thing that everybody's worried about. It's like, oh, what's going to happen to them in this COVID pandemic? They're not memorizing all the stuff they used to memorize. You know, by the way, they used to forget that stuff. After 2 weeks, they only remembered 32%, even if they got an A. So kids don't necessarily need to do that if you can show them how to learn effectively online. So getting to the top is never easy, and there's no straight path to the top. This is what happens when you get to the top. There's a lot of going around and around in circles in the middle there. And everybody that I know that has gotten to what we call the top, it could be the top of their profession, the top of their whatever they're interested in, did not get there by a straight path. So successful people believe in themselves. Here is somebody that I also know who definitely believes in himself. As you can see every day in the news, he says things that kind of shock you. But SpaceX, Tesla, and Solar City are doing really well. It's changed the world. So successful people are willing to take a risk. Here are 30 under 30, Forbes, all these people listed, all took a risk. Successful people have a sense of control of their lives. If you learn self-control, you can master absolutely anything. So I teach them to think about the community, not just themselves. COVID-19 is the perfect time. We all need to work together as a community to solve this problem. Kindness means understanding, allowing for mistakes. It means forgiving. It means helping others. No one does it right the first time. Revise and learn. Actually, I say that in school all the time. If you do it right the first time and keep doing it right all the time, hey, you don't need to be in school. You already know how to do it. School is a place where kids should be able to revise and learn. So verbal compliments, that's something that doesn't cost us anything. It's free. They're powerful communicators of love and kindness. It's so nice to be kind to each other. It makes the world in such a better place. This is from Mark Twain, the author who lived in the 1800s. He wrote Huckleberry Finn. He says, I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. You know, we just need to be kinder to each other. And the way we speak is as important as what we say, being kind. A soft answer turns away anger. So important for us to all remember in these times. So I have a weekly newsletter that you're welcome to sign up for. It's free. It's called wajway.com. And every week I write another blog. It's about 600 or 700 words, trying to help parents and trying to help teachers. So finding hope. This is what we're doing here in this seminar, this conference. Tricks for success. We're supporting the use of convalescent plasma to lessen the severity of COVID-19. Why? Here's one thing that just came out yesterday. Coronavirus vaccine won't work if people don't take it. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people that don't want to take it. But look at this, blood plasma from people who recovered is a safe COVID-19 treatment, the study shows. There are other ways, and this is one of the most promising ways to deal with COVID-19. And here is the Infant Foundation from Argentina, which I am supporting 100%. And this is one of our goals, is to bring everybody together in our fight against COVID. And perhaps this is an answer, one of the main answers to solving the COVID crisis. So thank you so much for listening and for being part of this conference. Here is a QR code that you can click on with your phone. And hopefully we will get multiple donations to help the Infant Foundation. They have been working on this extensively for the last 6 to 8 months. But before that, they have spent years working on pulmonary diseases, lung diseases, to try to help people overcome them. And COVID-19 is a lung problem. And so they have the best chance at helping us find a solution to this problem facing the whole world. Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay. Thank you very, very much, Esther, for your beautiful presentation. I think it's so nice to hear from you, from all your experience, your wisdom, and all these ideas, advices, provocation, proposals, all together that definitely can help us to be better human beings, helping others. So the whole tricks, creating trust, which is so important for everybody, the respect for yourself and for the others, the independence to be yourself, the possibility of collaborating with others, and to live and work with this kindness, which is related with love, generosity, and in Spanish will be bondad. So thank you very, very much for this. My name is Alan Gegenschatz. I'm part of the team of Light at the End of the Tunnel, together with a lot of people that I will present at the end of this seminar. And I'm here now to invite our good friend and next speaker, Fernando Polak from Fundación Infant. Fernando, I don't know if you can, yeah, okay, great. Now I can see you. So it's great to have you, Fernando, together with Esther. And now you will have around 10 minutes for sharing a little bit of what's going on with COVID and what is Infant doing with the investigation, what can happen with plasma, what cannot, what is your view looking forward, and for all the participants in this webinar, please, whenever you want, you can write questions in the chat. And at the end, after this 10 minutes, we have another 20, 25 minutes to have both Esther and Fernando to answer all of your questions and try to bring light to your doubts. So Fernando, let me introduce him. I will speak now in Spanish. So Fernando es médico pediatra, infectólogo, graduado con honores en la Facultad de Medicina de la Universidad de Buenos Aires en 1990. Fue residente de pediatría en el Hospital Francés de Buenos Aires y luego continuó su formación profesional en los Estados Unidos, donde fue residente de pediatría del Hospital William Beaumont Royal Oak, en Michigan, y a su vez fellow postdoctoral en la División de Infectología Pediátrica de la Universidad Johns Hopkins en Baltimore, Maryland. Luego de especializarse en los Estados Unidos durante más de 10 años, Fernando regresó a Argentina en el 2003 y creó la Fundación Infant con el fin de contribuir al desarrollo de la ciencia. Además de ser director de la Fundación, Fernando cumple el papel de asesor del Comité de Seguridad de Vacunas de la FDA, Food and Drug Administration, en Estados Unidos, y es consultor del Comité de Desarrollo de Vacunas Pediátricas de la Organización Mundial de la Salud en Ginebra. Para mí es un placer, Fernando, también tenerte acá con nosotros. Así que nada, ahora te paso la palabra. Tanto Esther como yo vamos a salir por un ratito de la pantalla, y cuando vos terminás con tus 10 minutos, vamos a volver los tres para tomar todas las preguntas que vengan del público. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Alan. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Agus. Thank you to all the team of Light at the End of the Tunnel for offering us the opportunity to communicate our work. I'm told that the vast majority of our audience speaks Spanish, so I'm going to switch to Spanish now to tell you that Fundación Infant es una organización sin fines de lucro que creamos en el 2003 cuando yo empecé a regresar de Johns Hopkins, donde fui profesor de pediatría en la división de enfermedades infecciosas y después continué trabajando en la Universidad de Vanderbilt por alrededor de 8 años más, es decir, en un total de 25 años en Estados Unidos. La Fundación Infant trabaja en enfermedades de la infancia, en enfermedades pulmonares, principalmente porque son las enfermedades más complicadas para los chicos, desde trabajos para entender por qué los chicos prematuros tienen problemas pulmonares con el NIH, el Instituto Nacional de Salud de Estados Unidos, a trabajos de predecir qué va a pasar con un chico que empieza con tos y dificultad respiratoria en el primer año de vida, mucho del cual hacemos con Imperial College en Londres, bajo el soporte del Molecular Research Council, y una innumerable cantidad de proyectos vinculados a enfermedad pulmonar y pobreza, vulnerabilidad de chicos en los suburbios de Buenos Aires, que no son como los suburbios de las ciudades americanas, sino que son áreas donde hay muchísima gente que vive en grandes dificultades con el soporte de la Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Tenemos un elenco de profesores y científicos que trabajan en distintas universidades norteamericanas, pero viven en la Argentina o hacen commute, ida y vuelta de Argentina a Estados Unidos o a Inglaterra para colaborar en este trabajo, para impulsar distintas líneas de trabajo. Y trabajamos en Brasil, trabajamos en Colombia, hemos trabajado en Bolivia, en Paraguay, tenemos un equipo de colaboradores en Chile y además de eso, obviamente, muchísimo trabajo en otras regiones del mundo donde tenemos un montón de amigos y colaboradores. La verdad que la pandemia nos ha encontrado a todos los médicos sorprendidos, casi desconcertados en un principio. Hay muy pocas guías de lo que hacer y la información se ha vuelto muy confusa porque hoy verdaderamente la ciencia termina corriendo a la prensa y no la prensa corriendo a la ciencia. Entonces todos los días abrimos los periódicos en cualquier país de América Latina, en cualquier país de Europa o en el norte de América y encontramos una nueva cura, una novedad, que el virus se mutó y nos va a alcanzar a todos, que hay un nuevo virus, que tomando jugo de naranja nos vamos a curar y cosas absolutamente inverosímiles, pero que confunden mucho. Y nosotros creemos que como organización que se dedica a traducir ciencia en salud, que se dedica a llevar los hallazgos de la ciencia a la casa del paciente, a la cama del enfermo en el sanatorio o en el hospital, tenemos la obligación de hacer un trabajo de ciencia en serio. Y eso es lo que nos propusimos al principio de esta pandemia y derivó, como decía Esther, después de mucho trabajo, en un programa que intenta ver si podemos interrumpir la progresión del COVID, de la enfermedad por coronavirus, antes de que progrese a ser un problema serio. En una oración, lo que nosotros intentamos hacer es transformar al COVID en un resfrío común. Y para transformarlo en un resfrío común, elegimos hacerlo en la población más vulnerable, que paradójicamente es el otro extremo de la vida del que estamos acostumbrados a trabajar. Hemos decidido hacer este estudio en pacientes mayores de 65 años y pacientes mayores después de 75, porque la diferencia es que aquellos entre 65 años y 75 años tienen además que tener una vulnerabilidad agregada, ser hipertensos, ser obesos, ser diabéticos, tener una enfermedad pulmonar de base, porque son esos grupos, las personas mayores y particularmente aquellas que tienen algún factor de riesgo agregado, los que tienen mayor riesgo de padecer un problema severo cuando desarrollan COVID. El plasma de convaleciente, al que se refería Esther, no es otra cosa que el líquido en el que nadan los glóbulos rojos y los glóbulos blancos en la sangre. Los glóbulos rojos son estas pequeñas pelotitas que llevan oxígeno por todo nuestro cuerpo, pero pasan por el pulmón, que es una estación de gasolina, donde cargan oxígeno para llevarlo a nuestro cerebro, a nuestros músculos, a nuestra piel. Los glóbulos blancos son defensas muy elaboradas que hacen distintos roles para protegernos de las enfermedades, y el plasma es el líquido que hace que todas estas células que circulan en la sangre no se atasquen y puedan circular tranquilamente. Pero el plasma no es solamente líquido, no es solamente agua, sino que está lleno de proteínas, y una de las proteínas más importantes del plasma son los anticuerpos. Los anticuerpos son pequeñas proteínas que detectan a elementos extraños que entran a nuestro cuerpo, como pueden ser, por ejemplo, los virus, y detienen la progresión de las enfermedades cuando ellos tratan de ingresar. Cuanto antes estos anticuerpos son capaces de encontrar una amenaza, mejor funcionan. Para hacerlo bien comprensible, imagínense que entra un virus al cuerpo, sin que nadie lo vea, pues los anticuerpos lo cubren como si fueran una cobertura de chocolate, y después vienen pequeños Pac-Man y se los comen. Pero si los anticuerpos no lo cubren, el virus puede pasar desapercibido y tranquilamente instalarse en nuestras células y causarnos daño. De hecho, la virtud más grande del COVID para sí mismo, nuestro mayor desafío, no es su virulencia, no es su inteligencia, es ser nuevo. Es ser tan nuevo que nosotros en Occidente no tenemos ninguna defensa previa contra él. Entonces, para el momento en que nosotros desarrollamos estos anticuerpos, tratando de detener al virus, el virus ya se ha instalado en nuestro cuerpo, ha hecho el cuarto, el baño, está comiendo el almuerzo y se hace muy difícil de detener. Entonces nosotros hemos decidido administrar este plasma en los primeros 3 días de enfermedad, cuando una persona mayor comienza a manifestar síntomas de COVID, que normalmente son fiebre, tos, dolores musculares, cefalea, y que luego, en general, después de una semana, pueden progresar a un cuadro más severo. Interrumpiéndolo al principio, imaginamos que podríamos transformarlo en una forma frustra que permita que la persona vuelva a su hogar y continúe su vida normalmente. Uno de los grandes problemas que ha tenido la pandemia de coronavirus, es que no se han testeado las intervenciones muchas veces de la forma detallada, progresiva y cuidadosa que requiere testearse cualquier intervención médica antes de administrarse a la gente. Y nosotros hemos decidido hacerlo en un estudio que se llama randomizado, doble ciego y con placebo, que, para decirlo de alguna manera muy sencilla en estos minutos, es una oportunidad de comparar la intervención nueva, este plasma, con una bolsa idéntica a la del plasma, pero no llena de plasma, sino llena de agua con sal, básicamente, y continuar con el tratamiento normal en todos los pacientes de coronavirus, tal como si no hubiese nunca una bolsa de plasma. Entonces, si la bolsa de plasma o la bolsa de agua con sal afectan el desarrollo del COVID, nos enteraremos al final. Estamos ciegos a la intervención y lo sabe solamente la farmacia que provee las bolsas, y lo determina un programa que aleatoriza a quién recibe cada cosa. Cuestión de que nosotros médicos no nos dejemos llevar por nuestros impulsos en tomar esta decisión. Esto no es sencillo de hacer, requiere más de 220 sujetos enrolados, es decir, 220 personas que tengan síntomas tempranos, detectadas temprano, y es un esfuerzo masivo de más de 400 personas en nuestro país, en este caso, que involucra personas registrando el 911 de cada una de las localidades y el número de emergencias también a nivel provincial y a nivel de la ciudad de Buenos Aires, donde nosotros vivimos. 40 voluntarios trabajando en distintos hospitales de la provincia de Buenos Aires, en conjunto con 40 médicos, detectando cada una de las personas que se presentan a las visitas con síntomas. Más de 120 geriátricos en red que nosotros monitoreamos con 120 voluntarios adicionales. Además de eso, todo un sistema de salud privado en la capital federal de la República Argentina y 4 hospitales cabecera en provincia de Buenos Aires con más de 400 personas entrenadas en buenas prácticas clínicas antes de iniciar este estudio en la pandemia, para poder dar respuesta a esta pregunta que es tan importante. Si uno de ustedes, o si no tienen 65 años, sus padres o sus abuelos, desarrollan síntomas de COVID, ¿podemos o no podemos impedir la progresión de esta enfermedad antes de que sea demasiado tarde? Este es un esfuerzo que hacemos nosotros como investigadores científicos, los médicos de estas 14 instituciones, 4 en provincia de Buenos Aires y 10 en capital, los 40 voluntarios médicos que están trabajando en los distintos hospitales, los 400 personas que nos ayudan, para llevar a cada persona el testeo a su domicilio cuando se siente mal, para responderlo en 4 a 6 horas, cuando el promedio de duración de estos testeos en nuestro país es de 24 a 48, y cada vez se hace más difícil dado cómo va empeorando la condición de la pandemia en la Argentina en este momento, para comunicarles rápidamente el resultado y buscarlos en ambulancia y trasladarlos a uno de los centros donde trabajamos para infundirles, en el caso de que ellos aceptasen participar, lo que dictamine este sistema automático y aleatorio, ya sea plasma o placebo, sin que sepamos nosotros cuál de las dos intervenciones hemos elegido. El plasma o el placebo viene por otro sistema de ambulancias independiente que tiene un repositorio de estas medicaciones guardadas de forma segura, y después seguimos estos pacientes hasta 25 días, día por día, comunicándonos con sus familias, acompañando a los pacientes durante su internación en los hospitales públicos, que son aquellos que son responsables, son las entidades privadas de Buenos Aires, de proveer el cuidado estándar que se debe proveer a estos pacientes en ausencia de casi ninguna intervención, como es la situación hoy para el coronavirus alrededor, no solo de Latinoamérica, sino del mundo entero. Es un esfuerzo para nosotros conmovedor, donde mucha gente se ha volcado a ayudarnos, donde tenemos una enorme responsabilidad y un enorme gasto, pero además la fortuna de haber combinado miradas distintas del mundo, especialidades distintas. Todos nosotros estamos haciendo cosas que no estamos acostumbrados a hacer de alguna manera. A veces a las 3 de la mañana yo estoy viendo cómo van entrando ambulancias con personas mayores a hospitales del conurbano bonaerense, que es los suburbs de Buenos Aires, o estamos controlando cómo están trabajando nuestros voluntarios que se comunican con las familias para ofrecerles participar, o integrándonos con distintos estamentos del Estado, del sector privado, independiente de nuestro color, creencia, con preferencias políticas y cualquier otra cosa. Es un proyecto sin fines de lucro, es un proyecto que en una organización social, que es una organización sin fines de lucro, y si esto resultase exitoso, cosa que solo sabremos en el momento en que terminemos el estudio y esperamos tener una respuesta inicial para fin de este mes, podría replicarse inmediatamente en Bolivia, en Colombia, en México, en Rumanía, en la Unión de cualquier estado de cualquier lugar del mundo, desde Oriente hasta Occidente, sin ningún gasto mayor que implementar un programa de donación de plasma y proveerlo en forma apropiada a quienes estén enfermos. Así que eso es el alcance general de este programa. Tenemos mucha expectativa para saber el resultado, pero verdaderamente no tenemos miedo de probar, como dice Esther, porque estamos convencidos de que la pandemia se va a detener. Se va a detener con nuestro hallazgo, se va a detener con el hallazgo de otro grupo. Nosotros no somos indispensables para esta pandemia, pero tenemos el compromiso, como todos tenemos en distintas áreas de nuestras vidas, de hacer un estudio prolijo, de hacerlo científicamente responsable y de ayudar, ya sea encontrando una solución o comunicando que no la hemos encontrado, para que otros grupos se pongan a pensar en otras soluciones, tal vez más inteligentes que las nuestras, y consigan protegernos a todos lo antes posible. Así que bueno, muchísimas gracias y de ahora en más contestaremos preguntas.
Genial, Fernando, muchísimas gracias por esta explicación tan simple, tan clara, tan transparente y qué lindo ver con cuántas ganas, con cuánta pasión, con cuánta humildad, tanto vos con todo el equipo están trabajando en esta investigación. Realmente un orgullo. Puedes quedarte en la pantalla, Fernando, en Esther. Esther, no sé si me estás escuchando, pero también podrías venir ahora a la pantalla, que vamos a aprovechar para hacer, les voy a hacer algunas preguntas que me han llegado de la audiencia, pueden llegar algunas preguntas más, pero qué honor tenerlos a ustedes acá y qué honor con la humildad que trabajan, que comparten y que entregan durante sus vidas. Es admirable. Voy a empezar con algunas de las preguntas que me han llegado. Una dice, esta es para Esther, voy a irme echando algunas para Esther y otras para Fernando. Esther, amazing talk, what an admirable mother. You are inspirational to me as a young mom. I have two questions. How can we increase engagement in online learning that has such a high dropout rate? This is question number one. And question number two is, how to encourage peer reflections in a virtual environment.
Is it peer reflection or pure reflection?
Peer reflections, so reflections among peers.
Okay, so the first question.
The first question was, how can we increase engagement in online learning that has such a high dropout rate?
Right. Well, the first way to increase online learning is to give kids an opportunity to pick what they want to learn about first. I mean, it's interesting. I did a study in the school with students and asked them if the teachers ever asked them what they wanted to study. And 99% of the kids said no. They never were asked what they wanted to study or what they were interested in. So since you're at home with your child now, you can ask them what they want to study and what they want to do, and then see if you can help them find resources online where they can learn it together with a friend. So I would say that they have to have a little friend, no matter what age, 10 years old, 8 years old, 12. But the fact that they're doing it with a friend makes the big difference. So there's a program called Minecraft, which I think most people have heard about, from Microsoft. And the reason it is so popular is because you do it with your friends. And so that's the first thing. And so that's the answer to the first question. And the second one, I think I sort of answered a little bit with the first question. Peer to peer, all the educational research shows kids learn the most outside of class. And why do they learn the most? Because it's peer to peer learning. And so what you want to do is encourage kids to figure out what they want to study online together, and then let them do it. And trust them to come up with some ideas of their own. As long as you are always telling them what to do, they're not going to be so excited. And you should just think about how excited you would be if you were always told what to do. So kids just have smaller bodies, but they still have the same gut instincts. They want to be independent.
Thank you, Esther. Tengo una pregunta para vos, Fernando. Dice, ¿cómo se puede ser voluntario de la Fundación además de económicamente, estando en el interior de la provincia de Buenos Aires? Estás mutado, Fer.
So sorry. El mecanismo para ser voluntario en los trabajos de la Fundación es comunicarse con un número por WhatsApp, es la más fácil. El número es, lo voy a decir despacito, 549-11-6112-3002. A veces los números me fallan.
Lo podemos poner en el chat. Lo podemos poner en el chat.
Perfecto. Y después entonces lo pasamos por el chat y se pueden incorporar en este tiempo. Estamos con un esfuerzo muy grande, así que valoramos el deseo de la gente de ayudarnos.
Ok, perfecto, gracias. Vamos a una pregunta para Esther. Esther, very interesting what you have present. What is for you the definition of success? How would you define success?
I define success, it's a good question, and a lot of people have asked me this question. So I define success as a person who feels empowered and supported to follow their dreams, whatever those dreams are. So if you want to be an airline pilot and your parents want you to be an engineer and you end up being an engineer, I would say for the most part, you might not be very happy and you wish you would have been an airline pilot. And the number one thing, they did a survey, the number one thing that they asked people who were on their deathbed is, what about their life do they wish they would have done differently? And the answer was the same almost in everyone. And the answer was they wish they had listened to themselves and not to other people. So that is what I define success, that you feel supported to follow your dreams.
That's a beautiful definition. Thank you, Esther. Una pregunta para Fernando sobre una nota que circuló en un diario, en el diario La Nación, sobre el COVID-19 y un tratamiento que se está haciendo en el CEMIC. ¿Están relacionados ustedes con esa investigación?
Bueno, toda respuesta mía frente a las reflexiones de Esther suena extremadamente mundana, ¿no? Extremadamente sencilla, pero estoy yo disfrutando como audiencia de las respuestas de ella y pensando como padre. El CEMIC participa en nuestro programa, absolutamente.
Gracias, Fernando. Lo bueno es la combinación de los dos mundos, ¿no? El más mundano y el un poco más aspiracional. Esther, a question for you. Tengo 3 nietos y me gustaría algún consejo de cómo acompañarlos en este momento y estar presentes con ellos para aliviar sus miedos y su frustración con la cuarentena. Any recommendation?
Who is this for? I couldn't hear.
Okay, this is a question for you, and it's
Okay.
a person who has 3 grandsons, and he or she wants to be a companion in this moment to alleviate their fears and frustration during quarantine. Any recommendation for another grandfather or grandmother?
So I can tell you, first of all, with grandsons, I've experienced with both girls and boys. Grandsons, they always love to play ball. They always want to run and throw things and take things apart. And this has just been my experience with my grandsons and with my actually boy students. So I would advise you to either, if you can participate in any kind of a ball game, that would be great. If you can't, you can at least watch while they do something and cheer them on. And, you know, there are lots of games, as we all know, and they can actually even invent a game. And that works out pretty well. I mean, one of the games that we're playing now, it's against there's just a driveway and then the garage, and against the door of the garage, we're playing something called dodgeball, which means you throw the ball and the child has to try to dodge the ball. And so if they get hit by the ball, then they have to go back out and then the other person comes in and then they play that. So anyway, I don't know where they got this game, but it was invented, I think.
Okay.
This is what I recommend.
Gracias. Thank you, Esther. Una pregunta para vos, Fernando. Dice, ¿la máquina de extraer plasma no puede contaminar al donante?
No, los mecanismos de extracción de plasma, se llaman normalmente plasmaféresis, no fueron inventados para la pandemia. Son mecanismos altísimamente seguros, de uso rutinario en la medicina, indoloros verdaderamente. No todo el mundo puede donar plasma, hay ciertos requisitos, cada país tiene algunas reglas. Si nuestro proyecto es exitoso, yo asumo que van a escuchar mucho de esto en sus países, porque hoy realmente estamos ávidos de alguna herramienta para controlar este problema, y cada país tiene algunas guías. Quizás la más interesante de todas es que las mujeres, después de haber tenido hijos, pueden proveer plasma para ciertas cosas, pero para otras no. Con excepción de que se realice un test adicional en el suero, en el plasma de las mujeres, que sí las habilitaría a donar para cualquier otro motivo. ¿Por qué? Porque el bebé que está en el vientre de una mujer no solamente tiene genes de esa mujer, sino también del padre del bebé que contribuyó a engendrarlo, de manera tal que una mujer puede tener algunas defensas contra esos otros genes que sean un problema en el momento de transfundir plasma. Es decir, que aquellos que recibieron transfusiones, mismo ejemplo, o aquellos que aquellas mujeres que han estado embarazadas, requieren un poco más de evaluación para poder donar. De todas maneras, el proceso en sí, si bien no es un proceso como ir a comprar golosinas, no es un proceso peligroso, es un proceso altamente establecido y reglado, y nosotros estamos recibiendo centenares de donaciones semanalmente, que gracias a Dios transcurren muy bien y le han hecho mucho bien a mucha gente probablemente. Si esto funciona, porque si no funciona será un acto altruista para entender mejor otras cosas que funcionan, pero si funciona, una persona puede realmente salvar la vida de muchas otras con una donación.
Perfecto, muchas gracias. Gracias, Fernando, y aprovecho para pedirle a Facu que vuelva a mandar los links para quien quiera hacer algún aporte ahora o más tarde a la Fundación Infant en todo este proyecto y investigación. Esther, ¿me escuchás, Esther? Tengo una pregunta para vos.
Oh, I didn't hear the question. Maybe can you repeat, please?
Yeah, I will read the question.
Thank you.
So, how you see the education in the future? Will be virtual? What is your expectation? What will shift in the education in the future?
So I don't think education wanted to change, but they have no choice now. It was the biggest disruption for education in the history of education. I think that education will not go back to the way it was before. I think there will be much more online learning, and teachers will learn, if they haven't already, they will be learning how to use technology effectively in the classroom. I think that there will be online classes, but there'll also be in-person classes. And they might not be, just like now in the United States, they're planning like 1 week for students to come, and then the next week, the other half of the student body comes. Or some school districts are doing it every other day. So during the days when the students are not in school, they're going to be doing online learning. I would expect teachers would become more creative in how to use online learning effectively. So it's going to be a different world even when the pandemic is over.
Okay, thank you, Esther. So let's have a couple more of questions. We have several questions that we won't be able to answer all of them, but here is one for you, Fernando. It says, ¿el uso de plasma sería un paliativo antes de la aparición de la vacuna o es una vacuna en sí misma?
No, el uso del plasma es un puente. Es un puente entre hoy, donde no tenemos realmente alternativas para modificar el curso de la enfermedad, a excepción del Remdesivir, que es una droga de una farmacéutica israelí que se llama Gilead, que tiene algún grado de eficacia y que fue, creo que, comprada enteramente por Estados Unidos, las partidas que estaban disponibles. Pero esto es un puente hasta que tengamos vacunas, hasta que tengamos básicamente la posibilidad de generar defensas por nosotros mismos y no tomarlas prestadas. El plasma es defensas prestadas, es borrowed immunity, and it's the best we can do today. Y tenemos que transicionar. Así que de alguna manera, este es un concepto interesante, estamos basando la transición a una solución definitiva en el sense of community, porque es la única manera en la que las personas que hayan pasado por ya sea la enfermedad severa o el susto de saberse infectados por coronavirus, pueden contribuir a paliar la amenaza en otras personas que poco a poco se vayan infectando. Y esto depende también de que esta intervención funcione. Hay que tener mucho cuidado y se ha hecho mucho daño en esta pandemia informando de terapéuticas que no estaban demostradas y que después resultaron no servir y en algunos casos hasta ser dañinas.
Perfecto, muchas gracias, Fernando. So I have a last question for you, Esther. You mentioned about tricks, trust, respect, independence, collaboration, and kindness. do you think in the current times, all are required the same, or is it any that we must pay more attention than the others? What would be your view?
I think the one that we need to pay the most attention to in the midst of this pandemic is kindness.
Right.
Because kindness seems to be a way to make people work together more effectively and collaborate. We're all suffering, and we've all had to stay home, and then a lot of bad things have happened to either us or to our friends. And, you know, kindness just makes the world better. Kindness is love, and we all need that. We're all human beings. So of all the ones that I talk about, you know, trust and respect are also important, but, you know, just as I said in the presentation, it doesn't cost anything for you to say something nice to other people that you're living with or other people that you're working with. You know, compliments don't cost anything, but they go a long way.
So what an amazing way to finish this webinar with kindness for ourselves and for others, which is free, and it's so needed. And all the work that you, Fernando, the whole team of Infant, and Esther with all the education, and the whole team who work in this project called Light at the End of the Tunnel, we really work with a lot of kindness to offer all of you, the participants, new ideas, time for reflection, time for rethinking some things, because we are not perfect, we make mistakes, and it was beautiful to learn from Esther, or to repeat that learning about that we can make mistakes, and it's part of life, and if we learn from it, that's fine. That's the way of learning. So before closing this event and giving a very, very special thank to you, Esther, for being part of the Light, and also to you, Fernando, I want to mention all the names of the people who has worked in this team. First, Agustina, who was, and I think, Agustina, you can, if you can turn your camera on, you can just jump in. So Agustina, thank you for creating this idea together with Esther. It was an honor to work with you too. Thank you, Jonathan Matias. John, you can turn your camera on, please, and come to the screen. And thanks for helping us with all the marketing material, the promotion of the program, the brochures, etc., which also was done by Carlos Nahundubo. Carlos, you can turn your camera also. And with Facu Badillo, who were key in making this happen. This was a dream a few months ago, and now we are in the screen with more than 200 people. So thank you. Also, Gonzalo, you can come also to the screen with all the Trello and the help of organizing the theme. We have also Valeria, who assists us with all the logistic and the Zoom. And we have amazing ambassadors who are not in the screen right now, but they are part of this team. So I want to thank especially Angelita Vallejo Garcés, Cristina Restrepo, Andrés Izaza, an amazing team from Colombia, Pablo Richeri from Chile, Byron Amores, Mario Tucci, Cecilia Cardesa, and Carmina, our translator, who did an amazing job translating today the whole event. So to all the ambassadors, and also to the sponsors, to the donors, to all the organizations that have promoted this event in their networks, thank you very much. We hope to have another event like this in a couple of months to keep bringing light for those who need it more, and for all of us, which we all need it also. So thank you very much to all of you, and have a beautiful weekend, and happy birthday to Agustina, who is celebrating I don't know how many, but surely very few years. So happy birthday to Agustina. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
also Jose, PDA, all the ambassadors that and collaborating, because we don't want to forget any of them. We will thank you in live and on our webpage later. Gracias to be here with my birthday too.
Yes, happy birthday, Agustina.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Agustina.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Agus.
Gracias.
Yes.
Gracias.
Thank you to all the ambassadors and to everybody for this amazing production. It was really it's been very inspirational for all of us. And we hope it's really inspirational for the audience too. And so thank you for joining, and thank you for your donations to the Infant Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have lots of messages thanking for all the work done. So congratulations and thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Gracias.
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 Gracias.